Now in this video, we're going to be looking at some that we need to actually factor first. So looking at this first one, I have 2x squared minus 8. I noticed that I do have a GCF of 2, so I want to go ahead and divide out the 2 first. And so I get that f of x is equal to 2x squared minus 4. And now if you remember back to our factoring unit, this is a difference of squares. And that's because that x squared, I can write that as x squared, and 4, that's the same thing as 2 squared. So that means that this fully factored out is going to be 2 times x plus 2 and x minus 2. So that means that my p here is going to be negative 2. My q is going to be 2. And so that means that my x-intercepts are negative 2, 0, and 2, 0. And so now I just need to find my vertex. So I'm going to find my axis symmetry first, and I know that's going to be p plus q over 2. And so I have negative 2 plus 2 over 2. Well, when I add negative 2 and 2, I get 0, and so that means that x here is going to be 0. And then to find my y, I have 2 times 0 squared minus 8. Well, this whole thing just comes out to be 0, so I get negative 8. So that means that my vertex here is at 0, comma, negative 8. You could have also plugged in 0 into my factored out equation as well, and you should have gotten the same thing. And so plotting that, I get my 0, negative 8's there, and then I can draw my parabola from there. So looking at number 2, I have f of x is equal to x squared plus 3x plus 2. Now this one's a trinomial, and since my a value is equal to 1, I'm just looking for two numbers that multiply to 2 and then add to equal to 3. So I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to 2 but add to equal to 3. Well, only ones that multiply to 2 are 1 and 2, and I see that those two do add to 3. 1 plus 2 is equal to 3. So that means that this factored out is going to be x plus 1, x plus 2. I just put those factors into my parentheses. And so that means that my p-value here is negative 1, and my q is negative 2. And so that means that my x-intercepts are negative 1, 0, and negative 2, 0. And so now I need to find my axis symmetry. So I'm going to do p plus q divided by 2. So I have negative 1 minus 2 divided by 2. And so here I do actually get a fraction, so I get negative 3 halves. But that is okay, we can do fractions. And so I have f of x is equal to, I'm going to go ahead and plug it into my factored form here. So I have negative 3 halves plus 1, and then negative 3 halves plus 2. Now when you add these together, you should have negative 3 halves plus 2 over 2, because 2 over 2 is the same thing as 1, and so you'd get negative 1 half. Here you have negative 3 halves plus 4 over 2, and that should give you a positive 1 half. Negative 1 half times 1 half, you should get negative 1/4. And so that means that my vertex here is going to be negative 3 halves, negative 1/4. So I'm going to go over 3 halves, which is just the same thing as 1 1/2, and go down 1/4.